Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blockchain Versus. I am Christina Bruhan, and I am joined by Russ Wilcox, AI expert and CTO of CoinGenius. We are interviewing today one of my favorite people in this space, Mr. Kyle Kemper of SwissKey. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Great to be on the show, Christina.
Thanks for being here. Would you like to tell the audience a bit about your product and how you kind of got in the space?
Yeah, sure. So I got in the space in 2013, and since then, kind of really haven't looked back. They say that this is a bit of a rabbit hole, and I will attest that it definitely is. And in this whole journey, I've been a kind of a rabid evangelist for the technology and for all sorts of different technologies over my history. And one of the key things, like the essential thing that one needs in order to engage in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is a wallet. And having tested and experimented with so many different wallets, I actually wrote a book on wallets called The Unified Wallet, Unlocking a Digital Golden Age. Yes, that's a Doge. And this was in 2018, where I kind of explore what's possible when we have self-custody of all of our different assets, and how we can really unlock this digital golden age, and we can enter an era of seamless experience where we can realize some of these trends that we're seeking, which are things like owning your own data, which has been a really nice concept. And a lot of people have thought that we used to own our own data, but we've never really have owned our own data. But now with blockchain technology and private keys, we have the opportunity to really hold on to the key that represents our data, and we're going to need a place to keep it. So that's what SwissKey is. SwissKey is this next, it's the sequel to the Unified Wallet book, but is the actual app. And so we partnered with some of the best people in the industry to bring to market a vertically integrated, self-custody, beautiful kind of, I like to think of it like as a Swiss bank vault in your pocket, and a key and a vault and a command center for you to interact with crypto. So that's a short thing. Let's get it rolling here.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're definitely going to spend the next hour or so digging into the technology behind the wallet, how you leverage data, because we're data nerds. That's why I brought Russ here with me, because he's going to have a whole bunch of questions for you. That said, Russ, I'm sure there's a ton to unpack, and maybe some of our audience knows what a wallet is, and maybe they don't. Maybe they know what cross-border payments and digital transactions are, maybe they don't. So maybe you'd like to baseline a bit, and then feel free to ask Kyle some questions about his platform and his journey to get here.
Definitely. Well, Kyle, thanks again for joining us. It's great to chat with another blockchain person in this space. I think at a high level, most of our users and followers have probably had this idea of, okay, cryptocurrency is this thing called Bitcoin, maybe Ripple, with this idea of there's like this distributed data ecosystem and these things called ledgers, and somehow your data is magically tracked and is safe and all of this good stuff into something called a wallet. And there's a whole bunch of different wallets out there. Some are good, some are bad, some we don't even know about. Like this is the first time I heard about Unified Wallet, which I'm really excited to check out. But I think maybe at a high level, at a conceptual level, maybe you can walk us through, say you're a small restaurant and you've been hit super hard with this coronavirus outbreak. You don't want to take cash, you're starting to do online payments, and you're thinking about transitioning, oh, maybe the future's now for cryptocurrency and blockchain. I have my KuCoin wallet or whatever. I don't know how to use that. Maybe you can talk at a high level about what a wallet is from our economic idea of it, from what we have in our pocket, to transferring it to this digital domain, and how that technology works at a high level.
Okay, let me give that a crack. That's a great place to start. So if we think about the wallet in our pocket, like, why don't we just start there? What Bitcoin enabled was, if we had a traditional wallet that had like the fold is where you keep the cash, and you could keep all sorts of different types of currencies within that wallet, in that cash slot in your wallet. Then you had all the card slots too. And really what we're going with digital is we're going to be able to digitize all those cards as well. But Bitcoin in its first iteration, all cryptocurrencies represent different types of digital cash that you can put into it. And just like we need a wallet, well, we don't need a wallet, but it helps to have a wallet to put the cash into in our physical wallet. In order to use digital money, you need a place to store your digital money. If I just want to send you some Bitcoin or another type of cryptocurrency, you need a place to receive it. So another simple kind of illusion is to think about email. So in order to receive an email and to send an email, you need an email address. So we need an email client. And what an email is it's a public key and a private key. And the public key is your email address. So that's what you can give to everybody to send you money. And your password is your private key. That allows you to send an email from your address to another person. The same thing works with a wallet. Your digital wallets create a public key and a private key. And the public key is the address that anybody can send crypto to you to, and the private key allows you to move the crypto out of that wallet. So if you're a small business and you want to start accepting crypto, all that you need is a wallet. And the wallets these days, and what SwissKey makes really, really easy for especially a business, is the business is going to be able to just download SwissKey on their tablet or their phone, and then be able to simply click, open it up, say request, and just like in any form of commerce, there's always a request. So when a customer wants to pay and they say, well, I'm going to pay with crypto, then the business goes request, and let's say it's $20. They try $20, and it shows them a unique code that has within it the requested amount and the information of where to send that. And then the client, the customer, just scans that, sends it, and then right on, like instantly, the restaurateur or the owner or the staff will get a notification. Okay, money received. Great. And that's the experience.
So it's kind of like Venmo for crypto, almost.
It's like Venmo for crypto.
That's really cool. And so
it doesn't need a bank.
Is this code like a QR code type thing that you can essentially just scan and it retains that information digitally?
Correct. Yeah. When you hit a request, it shows you your Bitcoin address, and then when you enter an amount, it adds a little bit more information. A QR code is just information stored in a graphical image that makes it easy to scan. And so when you put in a request amount, it puts the amount into it and the destination address to send it. So it becomes very easy to do it like that. And then but let's say you're not a physical business and you want to send somebody an invoice, we're going to have the ability to as well to be able to just share the request and send a URL link to somebody. You could send it over, Skype or Zoom or text message or any platform, and they can click on that and it will show them that same code to which they can scan and send, or it could even just open up SwissKey with the send pre-populated. So they just have to swipe it and do it. So very much like Venmo. The big difference between crypto and Venmo is a banking solution. It is banker fintech. It is lipstick on a pig, as opposed to a truly disruptive alternative path that is wholly inclusive, meaning anybody on the planet can create a wallet and engage in this new ecosystem.
So let's unpack that a little bit. Sorry, Russ, I got to jump in. So I'd like to unpack that, especially for the concept of the wallet being more than just a wallet, more like your portfolio. And there are things that live and breathe in that wallet and move around. There is volatility. There are also stable coins, and there's also, pardon me, there's also additional layers of technology that you can put on a digital entity like that to stabilize it. So at the point of sale, it pulls from the most applicable body of wealth for you, right? To make the most sense of your money. When you start to transition your digital transactions like this, you can start to leverage technology to make it even more efficient and make your dollars stretch farther. It also provides turnkey solutions for maybe those that are less technically inclined to be able to accept something that a week ago might have blown their mind, and now they're going, oh, maybe we should really consider this. And that's a really big deal to bring these kind of solutions up to the surface so people can understand what they are. I'd really love to turn it back over to Russ, because I'm sure he wants to talk about how do you protect PII? How do you protect, all of these things that people are going to care about when it comes to a wallet and their financial security. But I just wanted to kind of let the audience know that once you understand this first concept, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in a way that is very meaningful in your day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think one of the added, not concerns, but something that, the public has to be cognizant is that these cryptocurrencies are volatile, right? It might be changed. I remember paying one of my contractors, he wanted to be paid in Bitcoin, and me trying to time it perfectly and whatnot when it was in its highly volatile stages to make sure he was getting the corresponding US dollar amount, and it was just a pain in the butt. But I think one of the big concerns is that, okay, if I'm going into a new place in a new area, a city I've never been before, or maybe a part of town that I've never been before, doesn't look too great. My trick is, I'll keep $20 in my wallet and, do the rest with my cards and try to be super safe in case I'm pickpocketed or something like that. Do we have to worry about that with our current crypto wallets?
So, one of the age-old sayings is there's always you can be as protected as you want, but there's like the $5 wrench attack, and that's somebody or being held up. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have all of your crypto wealth in your mobile crypto wallet, and someone forces you to open it and send the money out of it, yeah, there's nothing you can do. It's like being held up for your cash. That's why it's, there's the ability to have multiple wallets, to have a, let's say a savings account and your checking account. There's definitely that opportunity. In terms of the volatility as well, I think one of the things was mentioned about that, and also Christina alluded to this as well. And this is the notion of, choice. And personally, I might just want Bitcoin, and I'm totally cool with the volatility of Bitcoin, but I want Bitcoin. But you have, USDC, or you have like a stable coin or some other coin, and you want to pay for that. Well, in the beautiful thing about digital programmable money is that we can add applications and integrations that allow for me to choose. I want to settle in Bitcoin. My wallet, I want to settle in Bitcoin. You can pay me with whatever you want. And and we have technically all the frameworks in place. One of the great things about Swiss Key is that we have 6 or 7 different exchange partners. So from within the wallet, if you want to swap your Bitcoin for USDC, which is a stable coin, or you want to swap it for Dogecoin, or Litecoin, or EOS, or Monero, or whatever you might want, you can do that all within the wallet, without being exposed to a lot of the custody risk that comes. And custody risk means trusting in others with your money in order to facilitate these exchanges. And this comes back to this notion of vertical integration, of bringing all these solutions into one place to give people a safe, familiar, one-stop shop experience for engaging in crypto.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'd love to jump in. Sorry, Russ, I get so excited. There's multiple types of wallet technology. There's cold storage. That's kind of like your savings account, and you keep that in a under lock and key. You don't keep that lying around your house. And then there's this interactive type of thing. The layers that you can add on top of it get deeper and deeper. Russ, I'm sorry I cut you off there, but go ahead. I'll turn it back over to you. I just get so excited about what we can do with all of this. This is just scratching the surface of being able to get your money to work for you in a peer-to-peer system that is not getting giant chunks of your hard-earned money taken away from you. You can trade crypto within your 401k with zero tax implications. We have those solutions right now. There are so many things that you can do once you're in this digital entity of a wallet, and you just really, I believe very passionately, everyone needs to be educated about how to look at this landscape and understand it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for our users, one of the things that I was hinting at is just you can take protections against your current wallet, putting it in a safe and whatnot, just like Jeremy explained. But this idea of of digital money, of cryptocurrency, is relatively safe. There's of course definitely different types of tax and whatnot, but the whole idea is that there's this idea of this thing called a distributed ledger system, and as this passes from one ledger to another, there's a certain private key public key interaction that's encrypted using a special hashing algorithm that it facilitates really relatively safe transaction between digital currencies. You don't have to worry about fraudulent behavior. You can start tracking this thing, and it's really easy to notice these types of fraudulent behaviors and tracking and whatnot, which is one of the strengths of cryptocurrency.
You know, the notion is bringing everything into this one package. This is your key to open your digital vault, which you keep. And what brought me to this was I was over in Switzerland last year at the Crypto Valley conference, where I was speaking with the Canadian government. I was over there, part of a trade commission representing the Canadian ecosystem and landscape. So an additional piece of information about my background is I was the executive director of the Blockchain Association of Canada for 5 years. And so in that journey, there was a lot of educating different government agencies, industry associations, enterprises, startups, universities, schools, different groups of all sorts. And, this was one of those kind of examples of, I guess they reached out to me and said, can you come to Switzerland with us? I said, absolutely. And in that journey over there, again, this is just one of these, this is just a little sample of the current state of the landscape. Is at these conferences, at these crypto conferences, it's amazing. Like most people do not have wallets, do not have crypto, do not use crypto, do not understand crypto. They're talking it, they're raising money for it, they're positioning themselves as experts, but they're not actually using it. And within the crypto ecosystem, a lot of people who have been in a long time, like, do you have a wallet on your phone? Might be a question I'd ask.
I don't, and I invest in it.
No, I don't. I've got it. Why would I keep it on my phone? And it's like, well, because you need to be able to use it. You don't keep all of it on your phone. Yes, you can keep a ledger, in your safe. You could keep. We've got these cards too, which we can talk about in a little bit as well, which you could keep in your safe, and that's a wallet all in itself. But
Kyle,
the core thing
is your platform compatible with NFTs? Is it everything digital? I mean, is this really the one-stop shop that can bring in everything?
I mean, you can have right now. We're understanding the platform is not launched yet, so we're building out that in the vision and the roadmap. Yes, NFTs are part of the collectibles. NFTs, otherwise known as, I would say, an easier way for people to understand, NFTs are like badges or are a proof of something, a certificate, like your university degree can be an NFT, if you will. That is like a piece of digital identity. Digital identity is something that we can store. What we have with Swiss Key is this personal data vault, and like I said, command center, and then you are the key to be able to open it up, and only you. We don't know what our users have. We don't know what our users are sending. We don't know any information about the users themselves. We are just the vault maker and the key maker and the command center maker. But within this, let's call it this vault, we store all the different private keys for all of your different cryptos that you have within the wallet. We also keep a data record of your transactions that you take. So when you exchange crypto, when you buy crypto, when you make sends and requests through it, on every transaction, you have the ability to create your own memo. So you can become your own record keeper directly within the wallet and not try, and there's a huge opportunity, like speaking to the data stuff of this. When you create a digital pair between a merchant and a consumer, you can make a payment. You can just send the money across, but you can also send receipt information back to the wallet. You could be sending money, but you could also be sending loyalty information. You can really engage in a heightened experience that will deliver more value to both the merchants and the consumers.
And it really allows for example, one of the big things that I work in is personalization, right? Getting, large corporations and large companies to, offer recommendations and customizable searches and whatnot. And oftentimes I've run into the challenging problem of how do you deal with unstructured data, right? For our users, data is just data, but there's two types. There's structured, which is stuff you can find in the digital domain. So it's in tables, it's in JSON, it's in XML, it's organized, right? Then you have these unstructured pieces of data that could be scanned documents or writings or even just Word files that you can't extract from. And oftentimes for businesses making that transition, there are sometimes platforms like Stripe or Square where you can retain some of that digital information so businesses can start leveraging understanding where a certain customer is buying it within their inventory, how frequently they buy, all of the stuff for personalization. And what you're saying is that you will be able to start being able to encode some of that digital information to make businesses more data cognizant, correct?
Absolutely. And we can be this personal, your own iCloud for your personal information and your data, and we'll just store that data. And so it's up to the industry really, and the people that are creating the data to standardize the data forms and then build the integrations that will want to pull these certain types of information. So adding meta tags towards data so that we can work with this, so that when we go to the store, when we go to, like, let's say a Walgreens or a Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada or one of these stores, and you want to sign up for their loyalty program, like they want information like, what is your zip code, or what's this area, what are some of the other places that you shop. They don't need to know your name. They don't need to know your birthday. They don't need to know like this PII information. Like that actually is a liability for them at the end of the day. What's better is they want this other information. And in the existing schema for how that data is collected, there's a lot of free form entry. So people just typing in information, which leads to poor information and bad data. And so we don't want to have bad data in, like, that's an extra cost to them. So there's the ability to be able to provide like clean, like correct data directly to the users or directly to the merchants in exchange for some sort of bonus, or it might be a discount on their purchase, or it might be a lifetime discount. And there's also the ability to really speed up the time in which that one needs to sign up for a loyalty card. So with a Walgreens or a Ralph's or Kroger or whatever, all these different companies, they'll give you a card like on the spot, and then you got to go register it later. But we can just bypass the whole card experience, like no more need for these plastic cards. And in the era of COVID, we don't need to have cards that we're passing back and forth and storing. We're moving past that. This is this is one of the opportunities that has emerged from this, is this opportunity for faster adoption of contactless digital solutions, and just to close on that thought, the opportunity for that loyalty account creation can be done instantly. The private key passed you, and okay, now I've got another key stored in my wallet that is my loyalty card for this company.
I think one of the big things that the COVID-19 crisis has done within our society is really driven this idea of digital economy and data-driven decisions. And I feel like prior to this, data-driven decisions and digital economy or future of work, all of these kind of buzzwords were in fact just buzzwords that were maybe utilized by the top 1% of tech companies who insert big domain here. And one of the things is I've seen small businesses starting to think about, what is my data and how can I utilize this, and run into the problem of, okay, it's unstructured, it's really a hard time. I have to pay lots of money for something called a data scientist to do it, and very high risk, maybe little reward depending on what the business is thinking. How do you see the COVID-19 crisis propelling technology, essentially, technology in all aspects, but specifically crypto and blockchain in the near term?
So one of my concerns about this whole the COVID crisis is that this is an opportunity for Big Brother to really shine and further take away our rights and freedoms and further centralize a lot of data structures. And blockchain can be the antithesis of this and can allow for us to reclaim a lot of our data and our identities and operate in a privacy by design kind of function. I think there's going to be a demand for this. I think as everybody goes digital, I don't know any data on it, but I'm sure that I have a sense that the cyber attacks and the hackers are having a field day right now, with everybody online. And specifically even Zoom, I don't know where this is all going through, who's watching, we don't have view into this. So this is going to further propel the creation of privacy centric solutions, and it's going to enable, from a digital payments point of view, Venmo's great in the United States, but it doesn't work as soon as you want to send money even to Canada.
Yep.
You can't Venmo a Canadian. But crypto, Bitcoin, stable coins, yeah, instantly. And we saw as well that the House of Representatives was talking about a digital dollar. Again, this is like a very strong signal towards being ready. There'd be no reason, if it was a public blockchain or if it was an open protocol, that we could be able to integrate that into the wallet very quickly.
Do you think Congress is currently equipped to deal with these types of societal issues? Right. I was just reading today, I don't know if you read about the Graham Blumenthal Earn It bill requiring, degradation of First Amendment rights for companies in this effort to prevent child exploitation and all of that stuff. And there are really serious civil liberty type questions that are now being asked by outside tech companies, outside individuals. But here's an example of, okay, here's a bipartisan bill that someone can automatically, jump on, pass on as an attaboy, but has real societal level implications of First Amendment rights, of privacy. And then you add into this and this is antiquated technology. We're just talking about protecting, server side engagements and IP addresses and all of that types of stuff. Do you think Congress is equipped to deal with this idea of blockchain and cryptocurrency, or do you see the need for the tech sector to come in and take a position on this as a leader in this?
Well, I mean, it's like kind of what Bucky Fuller said, don't try and fix the existing system, build a new one that makes the existing one obsolete. I think there is so much innovation that happening globally that they're always going to be kind of playing catch up. Mm-hmm. And that question wasn't related to Earn It, but speaking of Earn It, come on, first off, calling it Earn It is pure doublethink. It's just, this is like psychological warfare. At the time it's being released, this is also it's trying to push something while everybody's distracted. It's look here, look here, look here, look here. What's going on over here? This is one of those scenarios. And again, they're using child protection as this child pornography, sex trafficking, human trafficking as the fear, using fear to have people think, yes, this is a good idea. But you have big tech, you have small tech, you have privacy tech, you have civil liberties, privacy groups. Everyone's actually saying no, this is not okay. We all agree on purpose, that we want to prevent these kind of things, but we can't all of a sudden shut down end-to-end encrypted messaging. We can't have that. Democracy dies if we have that. It's over.
I agree, and I would double down that they're using this as a propaganda mechanism, which really irritates me because to the audience that doesn't know this already, the entire principle of blockchain is to create a trusted network where you can do a handshake between two parties, whether that is a human and a human, a human and a corporation, corporation, a corporation, that basically like creates that trusted handshake where you can own your own data as a company, you can own your own data as an individual. And that blockchain is really just the stabilizing fabric that allows all of these things to occur. That being said, I do think that I think if you are not thinking conspiracy, then you just are not much of a historian, because these things happen, and this is what event triggers look like when it's stacked up in dominoes. On the contrary, this is a result, and I will double down on this every single day until people start to hear me. This is a result of financial over-engineering for the last 12 years. This platform that exists as the global economic engine is no longer sustainable. We can't even lower rates the 5% that it would take to statistically stem off what we're in right now. So to me, I feel like the writing's on the wall and we have to transition to digital. So it's really important for me for people to like wrap their heads around what this is, why it's not scary, why this is the tip of the iceberg, and the amazing places that we could go in an equitable future if we start to understand this crazy technology called blockchain.
Yeah, because I think, Christina, I work in a distributed work environment. I have team members in Oslo and Islamabad and Beirut and Mexico. And I'm certainly trying to pay them and dealing with these issues on a weekly basis is, okay, can I time the currency exchange rates the right time do I use TransferWise? Do I use Western Union? I certainly can't use Venmo. As Kyle mentioned, that we can't even go across to Canada's borders with Venmo. I think we're starting to see the need now for a unified enterprise so that I can easily say, okay, Amar, you're in Milan, Italy right now. I need to give you your paycheck. I know you're typically in Islamabad. You're in Milan right now. How do I do that? Do I send it to a different Western Union? Why can't I just send it with crypto? And in fact, with some of my contractors, as I mentioned before, that's the direction I've been heading. And I certainly applaud what you guys are doing. And I think I'm just very excited to see what your platform looks like in the future. And you're certainly on the bleeding edge of it.
And I would tell those, and I would one thing that you can do with those employees and those contractors who are all over the planet is just send them crypto and to say, I'm sending you Bitcoin. Because one thing that people buying the Bitcoin can be a challenge, but once people have Bitcoin, like for them to sell it, they always figure it out. They always figure out how to get that, turn that on.
It's easier to sell than buy, isn't it?
It's way easier to sell than buy. And and when you have it, like they'll get rid of, they'll if they need to sell it, they can sell it. There are local exchanges in every country. There's local Bitcoins. There's a friend that they know. They can literally just do a decentralized exchange. Just ask anybody, like who wants to buy some Bitcoin? Because right now, there's a lot of people that'd be willing to buy Bitcoin. And if we're in America, I got some Bitcoin, and you have Venmo, and you want Bitcoin, like we can just do a direct person-to-person exchange, and solve that equation. The key, and it's saying, send me a wallet address. Okay, here's your crypto.
Yep, I would like to note that there are many people in the industry that are trying to make that user experience significantly easier, that one-click button, and Kyle's definitely one of those people taking very complicated architecture and then making it a very easy, user experience, someone that, my grandmother might be able to consider approaching this, whereas right now she's over in the wings being like, hey, ping me when it's easy, because I don't know how to do these 12 steps right now. So yeah, I really commend that you're trying to take something so complicated and make it easy for everyone.
And to that end, these cards I think are are very, very interesting, because this is an Ethereum wallet. It says ETH up on the top corner. We got Bitcoin wallets too, but the private and public key is generated on the chip on the card. It never leaves the card. Whoever has the card has the key. So you can actually just pull up your phone. I'll show you how it works. So I just open up this app called Tangem. This is our partner. It goes scan. I tap it.
Oh, that's brilliant.
it uses NFC, and then come on, internet. So then it shows you the card, it shows you the balance, and there's the ability to load that. You can honestly, all you need to do is take a screenshot of that, and then you can send Granny your card, and then you can send money to the card anytime you want. And then these cards have NFC. So once people start building on this ecosystem and we integrate it into all the NFC terminals, you're gonna be able to just go tap at the store. You don't need to touch anything. You don't need to actually touch that machine. You just tap it or just hover it over it, and that will send the crypto. That will, like, you know, satisfy a request. And this wallet, and then when you send it to it, it goes on the card. And in order to move money off of the card, you have to have the card. So you can, Christina, you could have sent this to Granny and you could know the address, but there's nothing you can do to get the money off of it. You can always see the value that's on it. This is one of the privacy concerns about crypto, is that anybody can verify an amount that is on an address. Or that's one of the privacy concerns of Ethereum and Bitcoin. But this is a very easy, familiar form factor. Granny knows what this is. Granny knows it's a card. And, like, you know, I told this to my Erpy, my grandfather, who's 99 years old. Kyle, I do not understand the Bitcoin. It's like, Erpy, like, I'll just give you this card. I'll know the address, and you'll be able to go and go to the grocery store, get your groceries, then tap the card, and then leave with your groceries. And then I'll be able to see, and we can set up things like watch addresses in the wallet as part of, like, an additional app or an integration that says when that balance is less than $100, like, ping the whole family. And then the whole family can, you know, drop little bits into Erpy's wallet so that he knows, oh, if I tap it. And then it's like, and then if he's like, oh, I lost it, like, that's a problem. I'm gonna send you a new one. Because if you lose these cards, whoever finds the card gets the money, because these cards are like cash, but it's a digital form of cash. It's like, you know, this is like a blank bill that the world can load.
So I have a
please
love
take,
that. And
please
Russ, I
take,
know,
take my money. Take my money right
I
now.
know,
I have a
can see
checkbook
Russ.
I have a checkbook right here. Take all of it. I want this now.
So here's one tiny little thing, Kyle. So when we were talking about wallets and like verification, one of the ideas that we had is on the geolocation, the place that you set up. I probably shouldn't talk about this on the recording. We should talk offline about some proprietary stuff to validate. So you have your digital version and your physical version, and then it can't be taken. There are ways to ensure that. We can talk about that offline. Otherwise, it's secret sauce. So to be continued. But Russ, I know there's so much that you can do with data. I barely touched on the geolocation concept of it. When you have something this powerful, this unlocks a whole bunch. So Russ, I want to unleash you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. I think for the geolocation stuff, you can start being able to give real-time recommendations in terms of, as soon as you start being able to see what stores you typically shop at, you know, aggregate this with other types of data, from, say, okay, I'm in Berlin for the first time and I don't even know where to go. I'm having a hard time translating. I know a little bit of Norwegian, no German. What do I do, right? And so to be able to have a real personalization engine based on my purchase history in real time, not just through Amazon, but recognizing that I'm a huge sushi lover. So, okay, here are the top 5 sushi restaurants in Berlin based on your geolocation data from your crypto wallet, I think is astounding. I think, you know, Christina, that will have to be
allergic to shellfish too.
Yeah.
And that's some additional past information. Or you need a bathing suit, and this is my bathing suit size, and I prefer short shorts as opposed to long shorts. And
yeah, it's
of these from all this data you can be having, and then you can selectively be able to, like, you know, trigger that search, trigger that broadcast, or open yourself up for, if I've got my body data in there and I walk through a mall, I could be just like pushed with, look, these are your options. They're all here. Oh, you've got a size 14 shoe. Like, man, we've had these size 14 shoes in our inventory forever. Like we want you to buy these. You can have them 80% off. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's almost having a personal HUD, heads-up device in your wallet that is your data that can. I mean, we need to have you on another call just so I can just say, okay, now that our users understand this idea of crypto and a wallet and whatnot, what you can actually start doing with AI and deep learning and machine learning to really produce, security results, personalization results, real-time recommendation. It's almost endless, all of the amazing things you can do with your platform.
So Russ, one tiny little note I'd like to just clarify. This kind of touches on what we were talking about with Local Buzz the other day, in that franchise approach of sharing the data and democratizing it, because not everybody wants to eat at the same restaurant over and over again. But when those small businesses and those merchants start aggregating things together in one platform, democratization of that data becomes very powerful in order to, remind Susie that, she wasn't thinking about it today, but normally when she's there, she goes right around the corner to whatever, right? Those kind of user experiences and the suggestions and the power of that kind of data for consumers to, and Kyle touched on this, to either engage with the company or not engage with the company. Right now, Google just blasts ads at you all the time. If you could turn that off and hit the mute button and say, I only want to get blasted with those ads when I'm specifically looking for something, that changes your entire customer interaction with every platform you've ever thought about.
or you can pay me to, you want to blast ads at me, you pay me for those ads.
There's your tokenized economy. Yep.
Yeah, make the actual, like, make the viewer, the attention, something valuable. Put that into that that value chain. That right now it's advertiser, content network, and those the two, and you're the product. Whereas there's definitely an opportunity for you to be compensated for that. And then the other thing is, like, from my point of view, is we do not want to, like, to be the everything. We want to be your everything vault for holding on to your keys, but then be able to seamlessly work with that shopping solution or that ad network or that these different services, and enable this interoperability and allow people to build on top of the wallet SDK or the wallet OS or whatever you want to consider this, and see emergent standards along these lines, so that it'll work with Swiss Key, but others can also be building out parallel offerings. So we bring it in. We don't want to, one of the key things that we don't want is full centralization, because there's inherent risks in that. So
I love it. Russ, any other avalanche on data questions?
No, I'm in amazement, and I want your platform live now. I want to use it now. Please sign me up as a beta user, and as soon as you start having data, please let me see it so I can start playing with it. That's how excited I am.
That's a good transition, because Kyle and I have been talking about having Swiss Key come into the Genius Network and all of those efforts. So you may get your wishes, sir.
Oh, I'd absolutely love that.
Oh yeah, so check this one out too. So we're gonna have a really, really wicked referral system too, on launch, and you're gonna be able to, it'll let's say Swiss Key / Coin Genius or Genius is the link that anybody clicks to download the wallet. And when they download the wallet, when it opens up and your wallets are created, it will give you a little message from Coin Genius. So like the personalization ability on behalf of the affiliate or the referrer or the partner. And then as well, you can select too which coins you want to show up. So you might be like, I really believe in Bitcoin. I don't think, I want the users to see these 5 coins or these 2 coins, these 1 coins. Or working with the coin foundations as well. We support over 23 different protocols on launch. So with that, each one of those coin foundations can have their own link that sends a message and just has their coin listed for those users. And then once they're in, it's not just blocking off all the other wallets. No, then they can add whatever other wallets they want as well. But they get started, they get entered, as that through that one kind of single mechanism, which is a really nice like path to drive adoption. And then there's revenue sharing on the downstream. So like, our primary channels of revenue are taking basically a small fee commission on our partners who facilitate the crypto purchasing with fiat. So like the crypto onboarding, they take the responsibility. All we're actually doing is giving them, we're in essence just giving them the address to send it, and then they're handling all the transaction. That way they will take care of all the KYC AML responsibilities. And then the same thing with the crypto exchanges too. When crypto purchasing happening, crypto exchange happening, and then with gift card purchases too. So directly from within the wallet, you can go to Whole Foods and buy a $100 gift card, or order from Amazon, buy a $100 Amazon card, and like plug that in right away, and be able to seamlessly turn your crypto into a delivery or a smoothie or a Starbucks or an iMac, all through gift cards and this this emergent digital market.
I love it. It's so exciting. And I just have to kind of up the ante a bit, because CoinGenius has, if CoinGenius was to do a wallet and we were going to have like the 5 recommended coins, I can't wait to explain why Dogecoin is actually going to be on that list, because it performs well like as a trading pair, and to educate people about that. I know, I had to laugh. I was like, we love that one. But a lot of people are like, that's not a real coin. It is real if the markets say, that the pair is meaningful. That said, there's another huge component here. So our partnership with CoinRoutes, which allows you from a trading platform to be able to take advantage of the best ARB opportunity or arbitrage opportunity across multiple different exchanges. That may also be something that can work within a digital ecosystem like your wallet. So there is unlimited ways that you can explore this, but definitely first things first. And I would love to remind the audience that you are raising right now, that you are kind of, deep in the entrepreneurial spirit and have been for a long time. Tell us a little bit about that journey. And then I know we're kind of running out of time here, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention, and I know you're so humble about this, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention why you are so well known as one of the more liberal, disruptive, non-status quo voices in the industry, and why so many people listen, to just your life experience and why it's so meaningful. You've been in government for a long time. Your family has. You have firsthand experience as to why this doesn't work for the little guy, and why you're such a big advocate for this change that must happen. No pressure.
Is there a question?
There is. Why are you so awesome, Kyle Kemper?
I just I follow 4 agreements in my life. I try to be impeccable with my words. I try not to make assumptions. I try not to take things personally. And I try to always do my best. That's like, that are some of my guiding values and principles. What Christina was alluding to is that I am a little brother, and I have a big brother, and his name is Justin Trudeau, and he's the Prime Minister of Canada. He's my half brother. My mother is Margaret Trudeau, Margaret Trudeau Kemper Sinclair. And yeah, so I grew up, very spending a lot of time with my brothers, and I knew Pierre Trudeau too. Is regarded as one of the most incredible prime ministers in Canadian history. And so I've been fortunate to have a lot of brilliant, intelligent people, and be just like exposed to a lot. And I've also in my own personal journey, I've just taken so many different hops from from starting my own landscaping company, working in construction, working in the service industry as a server and a bartender and a host for many years, to working in venture capital after university, to doing that for 6 months, getting the handle of that, and then going and working with an app development company and learning all about that for years, to then in the whole crypto experience. One of the first things that we did was launch a Bitcoin ATM at my family's restaurants. my father's a partner in a restaurant called the Clock Tower in Ottawa, and we put a Bitcoin ATM, and it was the first one in Ottawa, and there was all this media fanfare about it. It was really amazing. And then I got a call, like a week after we launched it, from the Senate of Canada, who happened to have been doing a study on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and they asked if they could come do a field trip to the restaurant to see how it worked. And I thought, like, that's fun. Like, yeah, of course we can do that. And then I was thinking, like, well, but wouldn't it be better if I just brought it to the Senate floor? They're like, that would be amazing. I was like, yes, we're all like, yeah. And so they gave us 2 hours to present how a Bitcoin ATM work. And if you ever use the Bitcoin ATM, it takes about 5 minutes. And so we use that as an opportunity to educate them really about how transactions worked. They'd been studying it for 7 months, hadn't seen a transaction happen on on the record. So we showed them, I was with my friend Victoria at the time, and she gave me a $20 bill and showed me her address, and I scanned her address and sent $20. And they were just like, oh my God, like, that's that easy? Like, it's that easy. And then we showed them, and we had the CA Vertex, which was the largest exchange in Canada at the time, where the CEO give a whole presentation about exchanges. We had Bit Access, the manufacturers of the ATM there. They should give a presentation about the ATM. Yeah, we had the former mayor of Ottawa, Larry O'Brien, was involved. He also gave a talk about this, and and that opened the door. And then I think the next guest they were like, Kyle, who else should we have here? I was like, Andreas Antonopoulos. That's it. Like, you've got to have Andreas there. And so he was, I think, he was there like 2 or 3 weeks later. And man, I remember like showing up. I was so excited when he was going to give his speech, and like the things were open. And when we went, the media gallery was like full. And when Andreas showed up, the media gallery was empty. It was me and Pamela Morgan sitting there, like, who was his partner, and we're just watching Andreas. It was like a home run derby, like and we were like, in the stands watching these guys like throw what we thought were softballs at Andreas, and he was just smashing everything out of the park. And like, to date, that still goes down. It's an hour and a half. It's worth a bottle of wine and your full attention, especially in these times. If you're looking for something great to watch, I highly recommend Andreas Antonopoulos, 2014, Senate of Canada. They came up, they were giving them like standing applause. Senators afterwards were like, I was crying when you were talking about the accessibility of how this can help all the unbanked and all the unidentified, all this. I was like, Andreas, thank you.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. I'm in goosebumps. I'm talking to someone who knows Justin Trudeau. That's amazing. How come we didn't start with this, Christina? I can tell you why you didn't, because I would just be fanboying over all this. But
well, it's an association thing too. It like
right.
It creates like this and this happened in it happens to me all the time. It's like all of a sudden like, oh my God, you're Justin Trudeau's brother, and then all of a sudden it's like there's this huge like image like, oh, okay, no, I mean, I'm Kyle Kemper. Yes, we're blood there. He's my big brother. I'm little brother. I'm little brother watching out for big brother.
Amazing.
1984, man. And you know what? I love your double speak situation. It's very right now. So Russ, I'll turn it back over to you, and then we'll be wrapping up. I know I just kind of blew your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
I was saving that tidbit for you. You're welcome.
Yeah, good thing you said that to the end, or I would have been even more misjumbled in the middle of this then.
Justin is doing an amazing job too, and like he's taught me so much about like interacting with people and like creating a sense of kind of touch and bond and human connection. And he's a brilliant strategist and a gamesman, and it's been a real inspiration for me. One of my great inspirations in life has been Justin, and then my other 2 brothers. Alexandre was a filmmaker who was in Baghdad, living with a Christian family when the Americans attacked. Like he went in the green zone with the Americans and escaped from them, and then went and like hunkered down with a family as America like unleashed hellfire and destroyed Babylon the first time, or in 2003. And he was like in Liberia covering he's a real revolutionary, a real really amazing human. And then my other brother, Michel, too, rest his soul. He passed away when he was 23 skiing. He was like the spirit child. He was, he was so at peace. And then the mother took him into the earth. And one of a lesson I've learned is sometimes that the mother earth, the Gaia, whatever, will take those take those shiniest stars well before they're ready. And I know that world is, Gaia is stronger without him, but it was crushing for our family to lose.
Wow, it's an amazing story. I'm so blessed to have this opportunity to speak with you, and I'm sure you're going to be getting follow-up emails from me every other day saying, "Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? Is it ready yet?" Because
that's wrong. Like, so I really believe in radical collaboration, and because that's the way that we can create exponential value is by working together. And and if there is the drive, and if there's the willingness, and you want to be part of this and want to assist and and get dirty on this, and and help build out to what we know is possible, and that we can realize that and help with the solution, let's do this.
I think you're making Christina nervous that she's going to lose her CTO. No, this is awesome. I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm certainly going to be in touch because what you're doing is really, and I don't say this a lot, is really revolutionary.
I concur. Kyle Kemper, thank you so much for being here with us. Please give my love to your wife and baby, who I'm slightly obsessed with. Love you guys. Thank you for being on here and sharing your story. I am so excited about what we can do with this little bit of technology and where this can go over the next 10 years. And just the passion of getting these, incredible minds together at the same table and, letting us all kind of nerd out a little bit, because this is super fun and it changes everything. That's it for us today. Until next time, this is Blockchain Versus. Thanks, everyone.
Christina, Russ, thank you so very, very much.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Absolute pleasure. I look forward to continuing the dialogue and the discussion. To everybody who is watching and has watched this, thank you very much for your attention. Stay safe, have fun.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, I should also mention, Kyle's going to be speaking at our virtual conference on 4/10, so tune in and more details to come. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
See you then.